My name is Dan Bell, and I'm the Technical Services Manager for Central Operations. Back in 1985, Field Service identified a need to create a database that would capture individual agent productivity, technical information, and account-specific information. After running with this database for almost 3 years, we've identified a number of improvements and enhancements that we can make to make our jobs a lot easier. To that end, we established a design team. A design team headed up by John Overland and Gary Pingle as primary code writers, Terry Schulenberg for custom externals, and Bill Pop for documentation. Our product is called Dreambase, and that's what this video is about. It's intended to introduce you to the product, introduce you to the people, and give you an idea of the thought processes behind the development work. I hope you enjoy it.
Dreambase is a database that we've written in fourth dimension. It's a relational database, and what it allows us to do is a number of different functions. One of those functions is call tracking. It allows each agent to enter in the data regarding every call that he takes as an event in time and store that information so that it can be reported on later. We also take and capture all the different technical information or even non-technical information into what we call the knowledge base. This database allows us simple access to one area so that we can always go to and look to there for the information that we need. Dreambase also provides us with a path to automatically escalate different issues out to different groups, either to within our local area or to our corporate personnel.
We're in the business of communicating and sharing information, and up until Dreambase became a reality, it's been very, very difficult for us to maintain equal levels of expertise, not only within our own department, in our own facility, but from location to location across the nation, including corporate headquarters. Dreambase, in my opinion, is the mechanism to make it easier to do our job. Both technical support, administration, quality, service.tech, all of the corporate groups involved as well as the field need to have an easy mechanism to share and communicate information.
Within our company, you could look at every individual as basically an island of information. And what we wanted to do is basically build bridges between all those islands so that everyone can share that information. And it makes no sense for someone thousands of miles away from me to have all the exact answers to my questions if I can't have access to that information. So what we've done is put in place a mechanism for collecting all of that information and then being able to disseminate it back out again in an efficient manner.
We wanted something that the person entering information into it would feel good about entering that information, because the information that he entered, number one, would be utilized by other people, and it would help other people in their jobs, and would also make his job a lot easier.
We already use it to escalate issues through other groups in the company. They're very interested in being able to use it to disseminate information back down the chain to groups like ourselves. So I see it as a communications conduit between groups at this level and escalating up to different levels within the company and back again.
You see, as information is transferred between one copy of Dreambase and another, the information, the actual exchange of the information is nearly immediate. This really gives us the best of both worlds. If I needed to share information within my own group and I wanted to actually stand up and walk through the group, I could do that within a limited range, a small number of offices. I can immediately get information out within my group. It would be very difficult for me to do the same kind of situation worldwide. With Dreambase and the ability for it to transfer its information, I can literally share information worldwide almost immediately.
The ideal solution is for a TSE or a service admin person or whomever to not have to work at sharing their information and communicating their information, whether it's across the room or across the world. Dreambase is going to make it available to everyone just by the click of a button. Right from your workstation, a person can take an issue, solve the issue hopefully, and communicate that to the rest of the world so that when the question does come up on the other side of the country, that information is at hand and the customer can be provided a solution. And customer satisfaction is, I mean, it's more than a buzzword. It should be a strategy for all of us in the 1990s. Effective service is what will make us a success, in addition to a dynamic product.
Take this opportunity to give you a demonstration of Dreambase. First thing that you'll do is double-click to open up the Dreambase application, and what this will do is bring up the fourth dimension password. You enter in the password, and the next screen that you'll be prompted with is this screen, the user ID screen. Each user is individually logged onto the Dreambase, and at this point in time, you would type in your employee number. What we're doing now is going through and loading up all the menu bars for Dreambase and also any of the files that are accessed during the time that you're actually taking calls. This enables us to transfer from screen to screen much quicker than if we loaded this up each individually time between every call. Once you've gone through the initial login, you will then be prompted with your user screen. This screen tells you how many current open issues that you have and how many open SRMAs that you have. The reason for this screen is so that each user doesn't have to remember any open issues that they have, and Dreambase will remind them every morning when they log on exactly what issues need to be taken care of that day. At this screen, they have the option to print them, to display them, or if they're already familiar with them or don't have the time to answer them at that point, they can just click OK and proceed to the call screen. The main screen is broken up into 4 main sections, and we'll go through each one of those individually. The first area that I'd like to look at is the account information area. You enter in the account information or the account number, and that pulls up the account's information. This will display their mailing address, their phone number, and their Apple Link address. Located over to the right of that area is the account information history. You'll find a number of different items that are related to the number of times they've called us in the past, and to give us a good indication of some of the reasons that they've called us in the past. Located right below the account information is some information regarding this particular call. For example, you can enter in the account information, the customer's name who's calling you. Located right next to that is a date and time stamp and also a response time. And that pretty much takes care of just the account information as far as how the call is concerned. You'll also notice that we have 3 boxes. They're caller code, product code, and question code. Those 3 boxes can change depending upon which group you log into the Dreambase as. For technical support, our caller codes are displayed on a menu choice. And if you see when I pull this menu down, it gives us the options of technician, salesperson, Apple support coordinator, end user, other, or Apple employee. By selecting that with the menu, it selects who is actually the type of person that is calling you. Next to that is the product code. The product code lists all of our different product and then sub-products within them. That again is a menu choice, and you'll see as I pull this down, I will select a Macintosh SE030. And you can see by selecting that, it also fills out the text information located to the right-hand side of it. So you get a good indication of that you've selected the right items. Next to that is a question code to give us an idea of the types of question that we're being asked. The types that we have are troubleshooting, technical, sales, administrative, SRMA, which is service return material authorization, or other. These again can be changed depending upon the group that you are logged onto the Dreambase as. Right below that area is a small box that contains 4 questions, and these are yes/no questions. Again, these are group dependent, so depending upon the group you log into Dreambase with, these questions can change. The 4 questions that we've chosen are good question, which indicates something that we need to take a good look at. Should have known is something that the dealer or the account could have found out by looking in one of his binders, something that he should have known or been able to look up on his own. On link tells us that the answer that we gave him was up on Apple Link. And last but not least is whenever there's a quality issue that comes in, we can very quickly and easily just check this box so that we have a good indication of any quality problems that might arise. What I'd like to show you about now is the information concerning the actual conversation that happened during the call. There are two separate areas, account comment and agent comments. What this allows us to do is capture the individual's question as it comes in and also capture the answer that we're supplying to them. One of the major benefits that we see in this is that we have question-answer pairs that can now be utilized in the knowledge base, which I'll show you later on. It also gives us a good opportunity to actually track what transpired during the call, so that when somebody gives us a call back, we can look at that call and review the information and already know where to start the call or conversation with this person, because we have that information right there in front of us. One other thing that we have from the call screen is automated escalations. What these automated escalations allow us to do is to take all the information that we've currently captured and transfer them to some other department within Apple. And the way we would do that is just go up to the Dreambase menu choice and pull down till you see the escalations menu. There are currently 8 choices of escalations, or 8 different types of escalations that you can perform from this call screen. Each of these escalations will take the information that you've already captured and put it into either an AppleLink format or a Dreambase format so that it can be automatically escalated to the appropriate department. Now I'd like to go and show you some information regarding the knowledge base. The knowledge base is broken out into a couple of different sections, and some of the items located on the knowledge base screen or within the knowledge base box will allow you quick access to information just by the touch of a button. For example, the Rolodex looking file allows us access to different third parties and Apple employees' phone numbers and address books. By selecting that, it will go and search the database on the information that we've typed into the box in the knowledge area. The next icon you'll see on the knowledge base window is the part number icon. Again, by typing in a part number, either finished goods or service part, into the knowledge area, which is this area of the screen right here, you can click on the part number button, and at that point it will go and search the database for any matching part numbers. Next to that is the SRMA button. What this allows us to do is go and search any open or closed service return material authorizations that we've issued from this Dreambase. So you can go through and edit the file or review it and give the account a call back to let them know what was done to their product. Next to that, we have read and post department information. Those allow us to quickly and easily have a manager post information into one single folder so that everyone located in his department can easily read that and track who has and has not read the information. Located next to that is DreamLink. This is our access to AppleLink. This will provide us with significant increase in productivity. Since we will not need to log on to AppleLink, we can automate most of the processes of AppleLink completely from the Dreambase. Last but not least on our icons is our System 38 to Macintosh connection. What this will allow us to do is basically front end to the 38. This is one of the modules that we are currently under development. What we hope to accomplish with this is to alleviate a lot of system time that's used up currently by people doing data entry. If we can trap the information through Dreambase, we can then download it to the System 38 when the transaction time isn't as important. One other thing that I haven't mentioned at this point is the complete knowledge base or knowledge articles that are located in there now. Currently we have over 3,400 technical articles. Because this was designed with technical support in mind, we have the complete tech info library of AppleLink on the knowledge base. The knowledge base is not in any way, shape, or form dedicated to technical articles. We can store any types of articles or any information available to any Apple employee as long as it can be displayed either in a graphic or textual format. We can import this data pretty easily and keep it up to date and distribute it within Apple so that everyone has access to the same information. We don't see any major disadvantage to increasing the size of the knowledge base. The speed of access will typically be about what it is now, which is roughly about 5 to 10 seconds per search. So you can pretty quickly find almost any article that you need to find. To do that, you can either select from the choices of keywords located up on the menu bar, and you can see they are laid out right now so that there are about 150 actual keywords that you can select from this menu bar. The other choice that you have is you can type the keywords into the knowledge base window. By typing the keywords, you can use the same type of information as using and, or not, so that this information is, or this type of searching is real similar to the Apple Link search capabilities that everyone is familiar with now. Once you have typed in your search criteria, either tabbing from the field or clicking on one of the appropriate boxes will then go and search the appropriate database. You will then be prompted up on the top right-hand side with what is called the current selection, or how many articles contain the information that you requested. By either clicking on that current selection number or going up to the knowledge base window and pulling down Show Top 10 Titles, you can then display that information in a listed format and choose from the title of your choice. Below this section of the knowledge base, there is also another area that we call the posting area. What we found is there is a lot of different information that arises within Apple that really needs to be headed off quickly. You need a quick response and everyone to open their eyes and look for it immediately. What the posting area allows us to do is it allows us to take information in and immediately post it so that everyone within your department can see that information. This could be some quality issues, shipping information, or basically any information that you would like posted immediately to everyone within your department.
Built into Dreambase is the ability to produce departmental reports. We basically classify these in two areas. One of them would be management reports. These would include the agent productivity reports, which would basically determine and provide the manager with the kinds of things that the agent did during the day. For example, the number of calls that he took, the kinds of calls that he took, the kinds of accounts that were calling him, and the kinds of questions that were asked and, of course, answered. One of the most important reports that we have is our weekly quality report. This report goes through the entire logbook for that week and pulls out information that has been classified as a quality type issue. This information can be immediately then transferred to quality assurance, where they can further disseminate the information to the appropriate engineers. Our intent is to be able to provide all of the field quality issues as quickly as possible to our corporate counterparts.
This concludes our brief presentation of Dreambase. What we'd like to leave you with is what Dreambase can do for us in the future. Currently, we have a lot of interest from different departments within Apple, technical support groups, service administration groups, training registration, corporate groups, as well as international groups. We feel Dreambase could be the vehicle for a very exciting media transfer within Apple, to get information flowing and building bridges between all these islands of information. Given the opportunity, Dreambase can change the way Apple does business. I know it's changed the way we do business in Chicago.
We've called our product Dreambase. Our real product is customer satisfaction.
And over time, you have to meet the commitments that the customer is required of you. So that's what the new enterprise means to me. the customer's success before our own, a clear and concise message, and meet the customer's commitments over a period of time. What I'd like to do is I'd like to give you some examples of how the new enterprise is alive and well in the U.S. One example deals with the United States National and Aeronautic and Space Administration. We had an event that took place earlier this year that I'd like Howard McGee to tell you about. Howard is from our customer satisfaction group and is sitting next to me now. Howard, good morning.
Morning.
Can you tell us what happened with the National Aeronautic and Space Administration?
Thank you, Alan. Earlier this year, Doug Werner in our Direct Response Center got a call from NASA in Washington, D.C. that has over 200 Macintoshes installed, and they were having a hard time printing from MacDraw. While researching the problem, we found that it was spreading to other computers, and we were dealing with a computer virus. The initial call came on a Friday. That weekend was spent writing a program that identified applications that had been infected, and Scott Winders from Technical Communications was on a plane and at NASA site Monday morning when they opened, where he worked with them to help them eliminate the virus. That next week was spent with Jim Friedlander in engineering, completely disassembling the code to find out what it was doing and disseminating information to the field engineers so we were ready to respond to customers' problems across the country. It's something I wish we could do all the time, being able to go on site to handle customers' concerns. In this case, because of the potential impact, we had to.
Oh, that's a great customer satisfaction story. The customer wanted to be here with us today, but unfortunately there's another space shot taking place. They did send John Scully a very nice letter commending us, and also we have a video that I think carefully describes what took place. Can we show the video in Cupertino, please?
I want to take this opportunity to go ahead and commend the Apple Direct Response Center and the assistance and the help that they gave NASA headquarters earlier this year during the outbreak of the SCORS virus. It was with their help that that we were able to identify the virus and quickly eradicate it from the Macintoshes at NASA headquarters, and also release the information to the rest of the Macintosh community so that the virus did minimal amounts of damage all across the country. The level of support that we received from the Direct Response Center was exemplary. The quality and quantity of the effort put forth by the DRC surpassed anything I've ever seen from any other system vendors that I've worked with in the past.
Thanks to everyone in our customer satisfaction and our engineering group for making this customer satisfaction situation happen. The second thing that New Enterprise means to me is that customers who are going to do business with us over a long period of time need a clear-cut message as to what our business proposition is all about. And earlier this quarter, we convened a very extraordinary event at Apple. We had over 24 senior marketing and technical managers, Jean-Louis Gasset, myself, and Mike Spindler in particular, and we sat for 4 days and debated and crafted our strategy for business. You've probably seen this in the 5-star news that came out earlier, and it talks about our tools and our usage strategy for the business marketplace. For those of you who haven't seen it, if you'll talk to your HR representative or send me a link, I'll be happy to send it to you. This session was an extraordinary session in the sense that all of the Apple values were alive and well. There was an enormous amount of interaction, camaraderie, and most important, trust, as we came out with a unified vision that we could explain to our customers. The third aspect of New Enterprise from a customer point of view is that we meet the commitments that we make to customers over a long period of time, so they can engage in long-range planning with our technology. For us to do this, we have to have a supportive infrastructure. We have to have the tools that will enable us to keep these commitments alive over time. Now, we have some tools today, as you know. We have Apple Inc. and we have Appletoes in our manufacturing area, but we need many more. One of the tools that we're beginning to build is something that the executive staff commissioned roughly 6 months ago, and it's called the Apple Database. Now, think of the Apple Database as a global warehouse of all information that we need to manage the business. obviously electronically based and available at the desktop. I happen to have with me today the co-project managers for the Apple database, Rob Yarmy and Christian Chevalier. Christian, did I say that right?
Chavassier would be really
Chavassier. I'm learning. Rob, this looks like a very complex project involving lots of different technologies. Can you tell us something about the complexity and the implementation?
Sure. A project like this, Alan, has lots of challenges. There's the technical complexity of trying to integrate a worldwide database to gather information and provide access to it. Relational database technology to organize the information, decision support software to analyze it, and we're custom developing a Macintosh front end to present it. Then there are the operational challenges of managing over 70 full-time people on the project spread across 6 major areas, all of which are interdependent. That requires a lot of project discipline. Finally, there's the cultural challenges. As we provide more information to more people, there's an opportunity to really change the way that we work at Apple. I'm really happy to say that despite all those challenges, as of right now, we are on schedule and making really good progress.
That's great. Well, Christian, Rob mentioned that this set of tools will help change the way we work. Can you say a little bit more about that?
Sure. Well, I think it's going to change the way we work first. To give you an example, the functionalists that today spend up to 80% of their time gathering and collecting information and only 20% analyzing it, hopefully we'll find this ratio to start inversing in time. Secondly, I think it's going to change the way we share information. As John actually mentioned earlier, the Apple database will have a unique source of product information instead of the multiple we have today. But I think more than ever, it really will mean that we'll have to be trusting, depending, and relying on each other. Finally, I think it also will change the way we communicate. We just completed a global and cross-functional data dictionary of about 1,000 data elements that hopefully should help us speak a common language throughout Apple. I guess there's one thing I would like to add is that we expect to release the first version of the Apple database on April 30th, 1989, and have subsequently quarterly releases. Alain, do I have the time to say hello to my folks in Paris?
Of course.
Joyeux Noël et bonne année à tous à Paris.
Well, thanks, both of you. We had a presentation on the Apple database to the executive staff yesterday, and it went very well. This is really an important tool for the future. So just to sort of conclude, from my perspective, a new enterprise really means 3 things from a customer point of view. It means putting our customers first and their success first so that they can win in the competitive environment that they're in. It means delivering a clear and concise message to them so that they can do their planning over a long period of time. And it means for us to run our business in a very efficient and effective way so that we can meet our long-term commitments to our customers. So with that, it's now over to Cupertino.
Hello. Well, first I'd like to thank all of you for the hundreds of letters and memos and Apple links and telephone calls about my leaving next year. I really appreciate all the comments, and some of you have said, Dell, take the money and run, you deserve it. And others have said, Dell, don't go, you've been through change before. Well, if there's one thing I've learned over the years at Apple is to live for the present. And right now, I'm having a great time leading Apple Pacific. For those of you who may not remember the last communications meeting or are new to the company, I want to tell you that we are unlike Apple USA and unlike Apple Europe in that we have 4 major geographic areas that we do business in. We are in Canada. We are in Australia and New Zealand. We are in Mexico, Central and South America. And we are in the Far East, including Japan, China, and India. Now, Those are large geographic areas with lots of different needs and wants. But it really takes me back to the beginning days, my first years at Apple, between 79 and 82, when the growth was so spectacular. Because that's what's happening right now in many of those countries within Apple Pacific. And you know, the mission has never really changed. To me, it's always been the passion to change the world through technology, to bring the power of computing down to all of us to be able to use. And whether you're in Cupertino, California, or Sydney, Australia, or Toronto, Canada, or in Tokyo, Japan, or in Hong Kong, that mission is still the same for each one of our employees in those locations. We have to learn how to localize that mission